Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our next session is going to be a presentation on the keynote Futuristic Dining from Holographic Food to Eating on Mars. Wow, how fascinating this session is going to be. Please stay tuned with us. For this session, please allow me to introduce to you our guest speaker. He is a creative biologist, designer, coder, and a graduate student from MIT Media, MIT, and Futuristic Research Cluster of Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome คุณพัทรนุธาพรขอเสียงปรบมือด้วยค่ะ
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Slide, please. Awesome. Well, I hope all of you have a wonderful lunch. You know, we are at Fab Stage, so food is big here. Slide. Oh. Yes. Okay, awesome. Well, I can say that I had a wonderful lunch with many of you this evening. So my talk today is going to be on the futuristic dining from holographic food to eating on Mars. And when we talk about future, we often think about space travel, science fiction, all kind of exciting stuff, but not really into food, right? And I think we should appreciate it because we look at science fiction and sci-fi movies. Many of those technology that we see in the film later become the invention that we cannot really live with anymore. Look at Star Trek touchscreen that now is everyone has it. It's very futuristic. However, I think there's one place that I think is a manifestation of that translation between crazy futuristic idea into a real technological device, which is the MIT Media Lab. That place has invented many exciting technology from AI in the 90s to something like this that look like a technology from the Hollywood movie. Or now they even make a 3D printer that can 3D print the whole house. So at the Media Lab, there's many interesting stuff. However, I think the first thing that came to me when I think about future is this thing. The Media Lab invented the first touchscreen in 1970, and the director of that time, Nicholas Negroponte, have described this experience of making the first prototype of the touchscreen in the retrospective talk, TED Talk that he did. And what he said was kind of interesting to me because people at that time was very generous about this technology. They call it the most stupid invention ever. In 1970, that's what happened when the first touchscreen was introduced. And here is why. The first thing is that because your finger is big, that's why you will never use your finger to touch a computer. It's almost impossible. Second, because your finger is big, it will block the content. So the finger will occlude the content on the screen. And finally, because your finger is dirty, it will also make the screen dirty. So think about it. This is in 1970, and people were really skeptical about touchscreen. But look at it nowadays. All of us has smartphone, and it's difficult to imagine a phone without touchscreen now. So what we can learn is that any futuristic technology, anything that's going to disrupt, maybe we'll have like a little different look at first. And because of that technology, the Media Lab become one of the most innovative places on earth with more than 150 spin-off companies and patents. And this is what you got to do, right? To be innovative, you need to make stupid innovation, and then that thing relate to translate. And I think the reason behind it is that when you think about disruption, I mean, when I go to TED Talks, we talk about disruption a lot. I think when you want to disrupt, you need to be different first. And when you are different, many people may not be able to kind of catch on, and that's why it might look weird to other people. But without touchscreen that Media Lab has invented, we wouldn't have Apple smartphone, iPhone, Android that we have today. So now let's talk about the future of food. Let's be more specific. And I'm going to warn you that it's going to be futuristic in the sense that it's going to look weird. It's going to be different than what you might expect. And that's because anything that's going to be innovative might sound stupid at first or might sound silly at first. So I'm going to talk about 3 technologies today. 3 silly or futuristic technology that might happen in our food source and food industry. The first one is kind of related to my childhood. This is me when I was a baby. It's cute, right? So I hope I'm still cute today. But that cute little thing was a picky eater. I had a bad relationship with food since when I was born. I was, a picky eater. I don't really like to eat that much. So, but luckily, there's one thing that I like, which is dinosaur. So my parents learned that, and they tricked me to eat, many nutrition foods by saying, "Oh, this is a dinosaur meat. Eat it." And one example that I remember is actually a mango with that kind of, structure. And my mom say, "Oh, it's a dinosaur spine, eat it." And I say, "Oh, it's so yummy." I eat the whole mango thing, and then it was fun. So the first question I want to kind of challenge to you is that, based on that story, can we really eat a dinosaur? If that would motivate me, can we really make a technology that allow us to eat dinosaur? Crazy, right? But yes, so let me introduce you. I hope I don't run into the copyright issue here. You're looking at the holographic T-Rex som tam. A som tam that has T-Rex on top of it. I hope it's awesome. And I had it last night, it was great. So that technology is possible because nowadays we have a holographic wearable device such as Microsoft HoloLens. Device like this allow the person wearing it to be able to kind of see graphics in 3D in the real world by augmenting everyday object with 3D graphics. And our lab, the Futuristic Research Cluster of Thailand, we be able to kind of harness that technology and by placing imaginative content like the dinosaur head on som tam, which is they actually serve it today as well. It's great. So by doing it, we can kind of have dinosaur in our meal, right? So one practical application is that you can use it to motivate picky eater like me to eat nutritious food like not dinosaur but something else like veggies and all kind of stuff. Another application is that, if you think about nutrition nowadays, many people try to lose weight, right? We can use hologram to trick people that they are actually eating the whole plate. But what actually is that they're just eating half of it, and the half of it is hologram. So, oops, it was a hologram, it's not real. But you can kind of psychologically trick people to think that they are, eating as what they usually eat. So, technology like this, holographic food, is still a prototype. But what it shows us is that it expands our notion of food. It's the entanglement between edible food, the digital food that we eat, and the digital food, the digital content that we cannot really eat, but is part of our plate. So the first one is the holographic food. Ta-da! The second one, we're gonna talk about food production. If we look at food production nowadays, this is kind of like a big scale, industrial, every food looks the same. However, there's a technology that kind of disrupts that, which is the rise of 3D printed food. Our group has pioneered this technology since 2015, and then we have patents around this thing. But now, we're not only looking at how might we print food, but how might we take it to the next level. We're thinking about the idea of personal fabrication, which has been in the media recently to 3D printer and laser cutter and all kind of stuff. How might we bring that to the food is a very interesting question. So personal fabrication. Actually, when I think about it, personal fabrication is a reflection of Thai culture. We have this, อาหารตามสั่ง, right? I mean, if you go to the US, you might suffer because every food is the same. You cannot really modify or customize it. But in Thailand, if you go to any street food restaurant, you can change the food. You can add fried egg. You can say that, oh, I want it to be more crispy. Sorry, crisper is going to be later. Not crisper yet, crispy. Sorry. You can order crispy fried egg, or you can add shrimp to your fried rice, or you can have everything all together, right? Thai food is modularized in the sense that you can kind of change things, put it together in different way. So how might we bring this culture of ahan tam sang, yes, to our friend? You know, we all love him, right? Who love Elon Musk? Yes, awesome. Well, you know, he has this amazing vision for the human to be interplanetary, which means we will be able to travel from one planet to another planet. So how might Thailand play a part in this great space exploration, right? That's a big question that we should think about. So, you know, we should bring the gift of having ahan tam sang, or amazing Thai food in space, right? So how might we bring tam sang to space? That is another preposition that we would like to pose to you. And many of our team members here, please raise your hand, the guys that work in this project. So that's why we developed this project. Our group take the 3D printer to the next level by develop a personalized 3D food printer for space exploration. And we developed a good partnership with JISDA, which is the space exploration organization in Thailand. And essentially what we do is that we are looking at the new way to create food in space. You know, in space there are many limitations in terms of resources, in terms of oxygen, in terms of water, in terms of the people living there. Many things are great constraints for having food in space. With the 3D printer, we can optimize everything. We can look at the biological, the physiological profile of the astronaut, look at the genome level, looking at the activity that each person do each day, and then take this information to the 3D printer. So the 3D printer can print food that has nutritional ingredients and be specific to each person. You can also, you know, create a shape that, you know, can bring back the memory when the person is at home, so it can help with the psychological effect as well. So this framework of having personalized 3D printer in space is the thing that we are very excited and are working on right now. We are also happy to tell you that we have a partnership with Chinese space exploration organization, that we're gonna launch this 3D printer that can print food to space with them around next year. We also have another exciting partnership around food and space exploration. You might have seen this news, you know, Thailand to send the smelly durian into space, right? It's kind of interesting. We formed this collaboration with Mu Space, which they are here too. You should go check them out. They are, I think, one of the very few space company in Southeast Asia. And we partner with them on developing a payload that allow us to test different kind of food, from smell testing to durian in space and many more. So space exploration and food is a great opportunity. Yes, let's make ahan tam sang in space. Let's do it. Yeah. So we hope that you know, if we be able to find our place in space, Thailand will be able to have the competitive in the space exploration as it's becoming the new industry. Finally, I would like to talk about the food diversity. You know, in Thailand, there's so many Thai food. There's so many, not just Thai food, but also international food here. You know, you walk along the street, you see restaurant every 5 minutes or something. So food diversity is a big issue here. However, it's also create a problem because, you know, sometimes when you have a lot of options, it's just so difficult to pick. And it's even sometimes create a fight between a couple. Like when the boyfriend cannot guess what the girlfriend want to eat, it become an issue for Thai couples. So this problem is kind of interesting to us because, you know, in space you have limitation, but on Earth we have so many options, which is also a problem. So how might we work with that? If you look at the trend in human preparation for the food, you can see that, you know, 1,000 years ago, you know, when we hunt the mammoth, we spend a lot of energy in getting a meat. But nowadays, we can just go to a Subway and you know, get a sandwich or something. So you see the trend of the physical strength and the energy used for food consumption is getting smaller and smaller. So what if, you know, we extrapolate this trend and see it in the future? What if in the future we don't even need to go out and get something? We can just think and the food just come out of your thought. How crazy is that? But we take that question seriously, and we look at some existing technology nowadays that allow humans to communicate with computer. There is this thing called BCI, or brain-computer interface, which is a wearable device that allowed human to kind of have their brain activity be monitored by computer, and it can be used for many use cases. One use case is affective computing, where you can kind of read the emotion or look at the affective information from the brain. So brain-computer interaction, human and brain and computer interaction and affective computing is very interesting. Not many people have explored this application in terms of food. So the third proposition that I would like to share with you is how might we make food from our mind? Crazy idea, right? So our group, the Freak Lab, or the Futuristic Research Cluster of Thailand, we were interested in this question, and we pioneer the first brain-computer interface for food printing. So we connect the person wearing the BCI device with the 3D printer that can print food, our favorite thing to play with, so that when the person imagine or have certain emotion, we can kind of take that information and create certain kind of food for you. So look at this person, she is connected to, her brain is connected to the internet, and it will make the API call to the machine learning that look at her brain wave and then make prediction of what is her current emotion and then connect to the 3D printer. So with that, we can kind of customize the food that we give to the person. If the person happy, we can kind of print something that is, like a smile face and give it to the person. Or, if the person is feeling unhappy, we can print, something like a cloud to show that, you're moody or something. So you can kind of map different kind of food to different emotion. And by doing this, we are introducing the idea of food, not just the thing that you eat, but the thing that reflects your mental state. And normally people say that you are what you eat, right? But now you eat what you are, because you are eating the thing that come out of your emotion. So as I say, we are redefining food again by introducing the idea of food as a mental reflection, of food as the thing that can change the emotion, the thing that can maybe make you feel better if you realize what emotion you're having. So the future of food, this is just, a snapshot of what we were working with. As I say, the most innovative idea may start as the most silly or the most stupid invention first, but these things are important. As we look back to see our touchscreen invented in 1970 and our smartphone nowadays that have the touchscreen, we can see that to really invent the future, to really disrupt, you need to think forward, you need to think beyond. And these three examples that we talk about, you may not believe it, but they are all made in Thailand. Thailand, you have certain kind of international image as, developing country or whatsoever. But at our group, we will to show that if we put people that have amazing thought together and have them do something, they can, create amazing things. So, however, they are prototypes, which means they are not perfect, but the prototypes are important to show the vision of the future. So instead of focusing on solving the problem now, I think, it's important that we solve the current problem. But after we solve that, I think we also need to have people that think beyond and look at, the future. So our lab has a philosophy of think beyond and not just think about it. You should make something. There's a quote at the Media Lab saying, demo or die. If you cannot demo it, you are not thinking about it serious enough. So we need to think into the future and make the future happen. So our group, the Futuristic Research Cluster of Thailand, or our code name is Freak Lab, stands for Futuristic Research in Enigmatic and Aesthetic Knowledge. We are fusing the art and science, engineering and design all together to create the future. Yes. And these are the organizations that are part of our family. And I'm happy to say that you know, we are creating the Media Lab, the MIT Media Lab of Asia here at the Freak Lab. This is our space, and you know, we are expanding. So please visit us at KMUTT. That's our home. And you know, these are the people behind the amazing project that you saw. So I would like to actually thank them for you know, being part of this, you know, adventure to the future. And the people on the top are the leader of different projects. And before I end this presentation, I would like to remind everyone that, you know, future is difficult, it's imaginative, it's out there, but you need to be crazy. As Steve Jobs say, people who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones they do, you know. So be crazy and be futuristic. Oops, sorry. Be crazy and be futuristic. I think it's important now more than ever to come together and think about this futuristic idea. And with that, I end here. May the freak be with you. Thank you very much.
And that was Kun Pattaranuthapon. Thank you very much for delivering this amazing and fun session. Thank you very much for being here with us today. Thanks indeed.